Hello, everybody. I am John
And I'm Joni.
for Grow, Love, and Expand. Here we are once again. So, in light of recent events that's going on in the country right now, a lot of protesting over this. We're speaking specifically of this person, George Floyd, um, and the tragic death that occurred here of this person. Um, and we were talking about this earlier. And the thing is, what people need to know. There's a couple of things here, and boy, how do you say this? The thing about it is, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion, right? It's very easy to get caught up in the emotion because people get very angry. But I think what happens is then we miss sort of an opportunity here, right, to grow, right?
Absolutely.
So, because was he murdered? Yes. Right? So it's easy to say that screw asshole, right? Freaking jerk off, right? And it's easy to do that, And here's the thing you have to understand that, so they did studies of this, right? Where they had like students in college, right? Where they were like some of the prisoners and some were the guards, right? And what happened? Well, the guards had power over the prisoner and they started to abuse it and went to their heads, egos, right? So the question is then why did it go to their heads, right?
Yeah. It's sometimes, unfortunately, it's sometimes what happens when people are given that power.
It's because in our society, that's the way it's been taught. See, we do a terrible job in our world, raising our kids, raising people. And why is that? Because, quite frankly, the people who have designed our planet, who have designed our world, want it to be so, right? Why do you think they've always said psychics are devil and they're evil? Why do you think religion has... Look, people have known for years and years and years, in order to control the populace, they had to focus on their fears and focus on their ego. They knew that they could manipulate them, right? And everybody gets manipulated through media. People get manipulated through their fears, right? Through their ego. This goes on forever. Why do they not want you to know about, geez, change your diet, eat healthier. This could actually help your immune system, help your health, right? Why do they not promote this, right? Because they really don't want you to be healthy, right? They really don't want you to be out of debt. And you're going to say, well, who are they? Look, you're stupid if you don't think that there is a concerted effort out there to control you. You're just flat out stupid. If that's the case, because they are, and they've been designed this way forever. Look, they created a deity, right? And they created religions. Why? To control. See, they don't have morals. These people are vicious people. They don't have morals, but they want to create morals in you. They want to create fear in you, right and wrong, but they will screw you over in 8 seconds to Sunday, right? But why did they create deities in churches and all these things in order to control the populace? Because they knew the populace has the power. The populace has the supreme power, right?
Right. And they create that kind of that herd mentality. They get everybody on the same, on the same boat, go in the same direction, and that's what's happened with this.
Right, that's what they want.
The media.
It's a designed effort to separate.
Right.
Why do they want to separate? Well, because they separate, you don't focus on them. You don't focus on the people that are really screwing you. Look, am I saying there's not a God? No, I'm not saying there's not a God. But what I'm saying is the God that you know is not the God that they're presenting. It's not even close. It's not even in the realm of reality. Religions in themselves they create separation, right? I mean, how many wars have been fought over religion over the years, right?
Many people killed over that.
Right. Why? Because it's how they control people. It's how they manipulate fear. So let's take this cop, right? This cop has no self-worth, has no self-understanding of self, because if it did, it never would do this, right? And then people say, well, we need policemen. Of course we do, because there's people who do bad things, absolutely. But then why do they do bad things, right? Could it be because the way the society has raised them, right? Look, studies have shown love conquers all. Love conquers all, right? You could do more in your house focusing on love and an awareness of love than you can a billion protests, okay? Mm-hmm. It's the focus, concentration of thought, mass meditation, right? Could change a planet like that, right? It's coming together. That's what this whole Grow, Love, and Expand's all about. It's about a community of like-minded people changing the thought. It's what our t-shirt line's about. Think it, be it, believe it, achieve it. Judging's above my pay grade. Plans may change, but the goal stays the same. It's implanting that thought into the brain that can help trigger a response of change in the reaction of our world, right? And so, honestly, if these people, I don't blame them for it, but if they just stopped and sat in the ground and did a mass meditation of total love and change, that would do more than actually throwing a brick through a window or burning down a building. Now, I'm not judging them for doing that. I understand the anger and the frustration. But then again, their lack of self-worth, the same thing that the cop had, right? Their lack of self-understanding is what's creating them to throw. Because is this really about George Floyd at this point, right? Or is this just, I feel I'm not getting my due in this world, so I'm going to take my due, and I'm going to use this as a reality to get my due.
Right. That's right.
Now, if you were telling them, they go, no, up here. Right, yeah, right. No, because you're an emotional, reactional reality to a situation based on the fact that you had no self-worth to begin with.
Right.
Just like the cop had no self-worth or understanding of self to begin with.
It takes a lot more awareness, though, for them to be able to see that.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Oh, right. And it's hard. Even this conversation itself is going to come with people go, oh, it's difficult for humans to take that emotion out of it. Right. But why is this created? It's created because from the get-go, I mean, I got to deal with this every day with these freaking moron managers I have to go to work and deal with, and these corporations are complete freaking idiots because they have no concept of people. They have no understanding of themselves. So how can you expect them to understand? They come from a place of power and control, not from enlightenment and upliftment and enlightenment. That's not even in the realm of reality. I mean, I had a talk with a manager, and they said, how do I get through this person? I go, well, first of all, everything you're doing is totally wrong. Wrong. And they go, what do you mean? I go, everything that you do not want, it's about numbers. Everything that they do not want to happen, you're creating by focusing on the very thing that you don't want to happen. Thusly, you're then staying in the same cycle and creating it over and over and over instead of uplifting and enlightening this employee and raising them up. You're trying to put them down. Why? Ego. It's ego, and it's a power thing. They don't think of their role as uplifting and enlightenment, right? And they use this word leader that drives me nuts because there are like one leader in probably an entire corporate. Most of them are complete freaking idiots. I don't blame them because I understand how they were raised. I understand what their thought process is. I get it. I don't like it. I can't stand it. It makes me want to vomit. But, I mean, I can't stand it at all. But I understand it.
And they're entering the corporate world and they're being trained by others exactly that make them exactly like they are. So the cycle perpetuates.
Right. And then if you're somebody who's trying to rise up and you're not, you understand why. Because it's in total contrast to who that other person is interviewing is all about. Right. It's in total contrast. You're not ever going to get that job. It's going to be very difficult. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to say not. It's going to be very difficult. Because it's going to take somebody who says, yeah, this time for a change. That person is what we need in our corporation. It needs to change. That's going to be very rare because the original people who started the company had that vision, and now it's been taken over by human ego and power-hungry individuals who want to control others, not uplift and enlighten. See? And that's what our society is. Our society is very... Look at religion. It's fear. Most of it is fear-based. It's not upliftment and enlightenment, right? And that's what this is really all about. It's about upliftment, enlightenment. And that's really the truth of the matter, right?
Right.
Because if they were uplifted enlightenment, this never happens.
Unfortunately, you're right about that.
You have no understanding
it's a very
of self.
unfortunate, tragic outcome to something that never should have been.
I told this manager, I said, I'm going to tell you what you should do. It's going to take you out of your comfort zone. I said, next one-on-one, focus on everything they do right. Don't bring up anything else. Don't do yeah, but. And then allow that good feeling to transform everything else. And I bet you'll see everything else improve. Because they're gonna feel better about their jobs. They're gonna feel better about coming in. They're gonna feel like, hey, this person actually loves me and cares for me and values me. And that's what this is really all about. It's about love. It's about loving and caring. When children are loved and cared for, it's a different outcome than when they are not loved and cared for as they grow up. And you can go back to this cop's childhood, and you can go back to any other person's childhood and probably tie it back to not being loved and cared for. Now, someone's going to say, well, that's not true. I was loved and cared for. Okay, yeah, there are exceptions always to everything, right? But for the most part.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Wouldn't you agree that's true?
I would agree wholeheartedly on that. There's so many ways people lash out, and
right.
it's all due to lack of love,
or mistreatment, or
right.
whatever the case may be.
In any form, no matter what it may be,
I don't know how any parent would put a kid through school, honestly, and an indoctrination of our school system. Fuck that. No way. Sorry. Go fuck yourself. I ain't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
No. Like tonight, everybody's doing the homeschool, and they're like, oh my God, so much. Dude, you have so much control of the material. It's not spoon-fed into bullshit, right? Why do they spoon-fed you into bullshit? So they can control you later on. It's all a mass manipulation. Do you need to rewrite arithmetic? Absolutely. Other than that, really, what do you need? Unless you're going in a specific field, engineering, surgery, then you need to know the cosmetry of the body.
Yeah, sure.
Understandable, right?
Right.
But other than rewriting arithmetic, what are we really talking about here?
I mean, in traditional school, how many kids come out of school not being able to read or write? After going to school and just passed along every year, well, let them go through. They graduate out, and they still don't have a level of literacy that is even usable in the real world.
And they teach them a history that's based on...
So I don't know how good that can be.
It's crap.
Not at all.
They always say history is written by the victors. So how do we know history is true?
Yeah.
See, governments have always...
We don't.
Governments they've known a long time that they create a deity that people follow, they can control them. Governments have always relied on religion to control people. When that was no longer valid, then government needs to step in. And if you look at life lately, I've said this 1,000 times, religion has failed miserably. People are not as religious or spiritual they're not going into the places of worship anymore like they used to, okay? And now the government goes, oh, wait, time out. They've clamped down, right? And what have you seen the government do in the past years? Right? They clamp down. Yeah. What is communism? What is all these people do? They disavow religion, and they circumvent. They just no religion, and they clamp anyways. Mm-hmm. That's all governments do. They're going to clamp. Why? Because they want control. Yeah. So religion is no longer a valid means of control. Then the government steps in. And if you look, how many regulations, how many freedoms have been taken away, Patriot Act. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on. And I love it how people go, oh my God, COVID. They've taken away rights. You can't go out. You can't eat. You can't do this. You can't go out of this. And everybody's saying, no, you're taking my freedom away. Dude, they've been taking your freedom away for a long time. You're just now waking up to it because you're a freaking moron.
Right.
Okay? I mean, JFK, who bought that? Single bullet, really? Out of all that thing, one pristine bullet? Like I said, 9/11, every building, one building fell, nothing even touched it. Yet, and through all this rubble, and there's a pristine passport of a so-called terrorist, really? And you bought that? And then they riled everybody up. Herd.
Right, herd mentality.
They're very good at what they do, people. Very good. But you got to understand there's probably 9 people in the entire planet that run everything. Okay? There's not one thing they don't have their hands in. Not one thing. They control media. They control so many things. My point to that is I'm not focusing on that because that's not something that we can control. What we can control is how we think. And what we can control is our minds and our mass consciousness. And as a group, as a human culture, if we start changing our own consciousness, okay, one positive thought will transmute 1,000,000 negative thoughts. That's how powerful it is. If you think for 1 second that you do not have power, you're sadly mistaken.
Yeah, people think that because, well, I'm just little old me, just an individual.
What can I do?
Right.
You don't need to go carry a sign, walk and protest. You don't have to do that. You can do that. You don't have to do that. You can sit in your house and just change the way you think about yourself, which would then change the way you think about others and the planet. Okay? I'm going to give you an example. Have you ever walked on a trail? Have you ever gone hiking? Have you ever gone hiking?
Sure.
Have you ever thought about who created the trail? Have you ever thought about, while you're walking on the trail, who made the trail?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Probably not, right?
No, I don't think so.
Right. Consciously, honestly, most people do not. But then when you're walking, you go, thank you. Thank you for that. What is that? That's becoming aware of your environment. That's becoming aware of self in the environment. Mm-hmm. That's understanding and appreciating every little thing around you.
Having gratitude for something before you.
What is another word for gratitude? Love.
Love, appreciation, all those adjectives.
It all goes down to one thing.
Right.
So, people always ask me, what is the purpose of life? What's the purpose of life?
To love.
Everything comes back to love. It's really simple. We try to overcomplicate it. We try to make it more than what it actually is. But the truth of the matter is, it's just learn to love.
Right.
This cop did what he did because he doesn't have self-worth. He doesn't have an understanding of self-worth, so he feels he has to have power over somebody else in order to give him self-worth. Right. That's what he did.
Unfortunately.
Right. These people don't have power over themselves, so they figure to gain power over somebody else, I got to destroy their work. I got to burn their building. When they had nothing to do with this at all. This is just a guy trying to make a living or a woman trying to make a living out there. Absolutely. And yet they're destroying instead of sitting on Capitol Hill protesting. Not even protesting, mass meditation of consciousness, of pure love, and just think total love. You don't have to say like, oh, I want Trump out of office or I want Obama out of office. No, just focus on love and allow the feeling and the energy of love to transmute everything else. What is that?
Sorry.
Got to breathe.
Yeah.
She's got her Apple Watch and tells her to breathe.
I guess I can mute that.
Well, you could use any watch, but we have the Apple Watch. But
Sorry.
It's about her exercising. But it is a good point because take a time and take a breath, right?
Right. Maybe that thing was synchronicity.
Apropos.
Yeah, it was.
But anyway, so there you have it. I'm John.
I'm Joni.
For Grow, Love, and Expand. Please comment below. Please hit that like button and share, please. Let's spread the word, right? Grow, love, and expand. Positive thoughts, positive deeds, positive action. And allow yourself to just be in that moment of peace, all right? So I'm John, Joni, for Grow, Love, and Expand. Love you all. You're wonderful people. Have a great rest of your day.